all these pattern papers and I still don't have the color coordination I need. Let's fix this. Okay, the first thing we need to do is go ahead and pick our 3 colors that we're going to work with. We are going to show you how to turn tissue paper into your perfect background. The 3 colors we've picked: Gorgeous Grape, Coastal Cabana, and Pumpkin Pie. Now, the next thing you need is to get you some tissue paper. Everybody has tissue paper around. For this, on Technique Tuesday, you can use a colored paper if you want, but I think you might get the best coloring if you use white. But not to worry, if you don't have white, you have a light blue or a light pink, try it out and see what happens. We are going to bring in this beautiful white tissue paper. Now, what we also need to bring in is an acrylic block. So let's bring in our acrylic block. You might want to go ahead and bring you in a piece of paper, something to cover up your workstation so that you don't get it wet. We're going to open up our ink and just start covering our area on our acrylic block. And this is so much fun. Now you can make it as light or as dark as you want. I'm going to go ahead and just put my Gorgeous Grape right there. And then I made some little ink spots. I just bought these and then I used my ink refills and I added it because I knew I would have some spots that were smaller and I wanted to be able to just add the colors that I wanted. So I'm just going to add in some pumpkin pie. I'm going to bring this over and now I'm going to add Coastal Cabana. And this is just a kind of a greenish blue color. So you can use whatever colors are your favorite that you're missing and you didn't have in your background. Now go ahead and bring in your spritzer. And we just want to spritz it with water because these are water-based ink pads. So now we're just going to spritz this with water, get it nice and wet. Look at that. And now we're going to bring in our tissue paper and watch the magic happen. Let's just lay that down. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness. Now you can kind of just move it around to kind of get the colors mixed a little better if you want to. Move it with your fingers. Just be very careful because tissue paper is easily torn. And so look at those colors. Now you might have with you some little wipes because you get that on your finger and you want to get that off. So we're just going to wipe that. Okay. Now we are going to bring in one more piece of paper so that I can put it right here. I'm going to bring in a mat. I'm going to lay this down and I'm going to very carefully pick this up and lay it down over my mat. Look at this. My goodness. Now I'm just going to very carefully push that down and let all that goodness soak into that mat. Now while we're doing that, I want to go ahead and pick just another mat that I have, whatever size you want. And I want to remind you that all the measurements will be listed over on creativemomentsbyg.com, so you can go over there and get the measurements of the cards we're going to make. So let's just take this, let's add this right to all this goodness right there. We don't want to miss out on that. And we just want to use another piece of paper that we can kind of push it down. So I'm just going to grab this and I'm just going to push it down really hard. It's hard to do if you don't put this extra piece of paper down because you're going to get your fingers all inky, right? But we're just letting all the rest of that ink transfer to this mat. Now let's see what we have. Look at that. Oh, so pretty. We're going to put this to the side. We're going to move this over, and now let's lift this off our mat. Look at that. Look at how pretty that is. And this has the exact colors that I wanted for my card. I wanted purple, kind of a blue-green, and some orange. Love that. So we are going to let this dry. Now you can let it air dry, or you can bring in your heat tool and go ahead and dry it. Let's do that. Now look at these colors. We are actually going to use this for a card. But first, let's take these two beautiful mats and let's turn them into a card. So let's move this to the side. And let's bring in this accordion fold. Now remember I said that the measurements would be over on our blog. All you have to do is go to creativemomentsbyg.com right there and click on this card, which will be listed as tissue paper, of course. So now what we need to do is go ahead and cut these. And I think I'm going to cut it just like this. Our first panel is going to be 1 1/4. And then 2 3/4. Now I need an extra little panel for this area right here. So we're just going to take this one, and I think I like this side better. So I'm just going to cut this at 3/4. Okay, now let's add these beautiful panels to our card. Let's just bring in our tape runner, bring in our silicone mat, now you could double mat this if you wanted to, of course. Now we're going to put this one just like that. Oh, look at how beautiful that is. And then we're just laying our little strip right here. Okay, now look at that beautiful cover. But we are not done yet, because we are going to incorporate part of this beautiful tissue into this card, as well as make one more card. You're not going to believe it. So let's do that. Let's bring in our mat. Now I'm going to turn this into a second mat. And our second mats are 3 3/4 by 5. We're just going to add some glue on this mat. And I'm just going to lay this right on top of that mat. Look at that. Now we're just going to press it down. Now you can press it with your hand, or you can bring in another acrylic block. This is a great tip. And just push down on it. Just so that you don't accidentally tear this tissue, which is so fragile. Okay, now I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to make it just a little smaller. You can go ahead and cut it right here against the edge, but you really run the risk of it peeling away from your mat. So another tip is to miter your edges on this card. And to do that, it's very easy. We're just going to, like I said, cut off a little bit of the excess. And this just creates a beautifully vibrant background that has the exact colors you wanted. So problem solved, right? We're just going to cut the edges just like that. And all this is going to do is it takes off some of the excess so that you don't have so much bulk behind your mat. So we are going to just put a little bit of tape right there, and I'm going to fold it over. Move this, a little bit of tape, and fold it over. And you can see how nicely it miters those edges, right? So easy to do. Now let's look at that. Oh my goodness! Isn't that beautiful? But wait, we're not going to stop there. We are going to take a rectangle and we are going to cut out the center part right here because we're going to use this piece on that other card. Remember, I told you we were going to make a couple cards. So let's go ahead and just get this cut out. We're going to run it through the embossing machine and get it cut out, and we'll be right back. Now, another little tip. When you take this tape off, and this is removable tape, be very careful because tissue is very delicate and we don't want to tear the paper in any way. So we just very carefully take it off. Now we're going to take it off here. And look at this beautiful piece that we have to put right on our other card. Look at that frame. Just gorgeous. Now we're going to add that to this mat right here, just like this. But I want to stamp a sentiment in there. So to know exactly where I'm going to stamp, I'm just going to use a pencil. And I'm just going to mark some edges right here so I know exactly where to stamp. So we can erase these edges. Now I'm going to bring in my stamping tool because I want it nice and dark. I'm going to lay this down, and this has a little magic sticky pad. I'm going to put my magnet right there. I'm going to center this. And I'm going to use my Night of Navy to stamp the sentiment. Now this sentiment comes from Autumn Expressions, and it has beautiful sentiments with it. Just love these sentiments. So I'm just going to tap, tap, tap. Lift up. Because I'm going to stamp twice, I don't have to hope that all the ink gets transferred the first time. Oh, look at that. Absolutely perfect, right? So we're just going to lift that off. I'm going to bring in my eraser that I use. And I like to use this mono eraser. It is so nice. There are lots of erasers out there, but I really like this one. And look at this. How perfect is that? So let's just go ahead and bring in our tape runner again. Add some tape to the back of this. You can add glue or tape. Just going to center this. Oh, look at how pretty that is. Now I'm going to add it to a gorgeous grape card. And I'm going to add it up on some dimensionals so that it raises it up, and I just think it makes it pop a little more. Add this to the front of our card. And look at our first card. Look at those vibrant colors. Those are exactly the colors that I wanted, and I created them with tissue paper and refill ink. Oh my goodness. Let's put this one to the side. Now let's go ahead and do something with this one. Now we have our accordion card, and we have it just like this. This is how I'm going to put it. But I want to go ahead and put a background on it because I want it to pop a little more. And so we are either going to use this, which I like, or pumpkin pie, which is our orange color. Now take a moment and leave a comment. Which would you have rather seen? This one, a little border using the orange, the pumpkin pie, or this coastal cabana? There's not much of it in there, but it might highlight it a little bit. Take a moment and leave a comment. Let me know which one you were hoping that I would put. Okay, I'm going to take this out of sight, and I'm going to add this. And I decided to add it to the pumpkin pie, the orange. That is just makes it pop. Oh, just beautiful. Look at that. Now we need to go ahead and stamp our message. And I'm going to go ahead and bring in our stamping tool. I'm going to get this lined up. I'm going to put my magnet right here. Now make sure it's all the way up in the corner. I'm going to get this cleaned off, and then we're going to add it right here. Look at that. Just a little sidebar, this magic mat comes with this nice little flimsy sheet. It's just a little film, and I could never find it. I would lose it all the time, so I put a sunflower on it so I can always find it on my desk. But look at that. Is that just beautiful? Let's bring in our card. Now we want to make sure that we put it just a little bit right there because I want it centered right here, margin to margin, top to bottom, side to side. So I'm going to bring in my dimensionals, and I'm going to put my finger at the top and at the bottom, and right here I know exactly where I need to put my dimensionals. Let's bring this in. Before you push it down, make sure you have it exactly where you want it. And look at that. Just beautiful. You have plenty of room to write your message. Look at this, and look at this one. What do you think about using tissue paper to create the perfect background with your perfect colors? Who would have thought, right? Well, what do you think about this? We love this tissue paper. We love how vibrant it is. And we hope you did too. If you want to support our channel, we sure would like you to subscribe and share with your friends. We hope that you were inspired. Until next time, Maudie and I want to wish you a day filled with creative moments. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. Go out and make it a great day. Bye-bye.